Welcome to day 4, number 222. We're the man Frank SCALISH, trying out a little bit new background music. We might try some different stuff for the next couple of weeks, Frank, until we find something that fits you. I feel like this one might be a little bit too happy. It's a little bit
too happy.
I promise you, when a jet ski buzzes you, this is not, you're not whistling this tune.
No. No, it's more like heavy metal.
Anyway, good to be back. We are actually live. So, full disclosure, here's what happened. We could have been live last week, but prior to the 25th, which was the wedding, which none of us were here, we recorded the show for the following week, which should have been October 30th.
Yes, correct.
But I was just not, my mind was a million different places at the time. And we both thought we were recording for November 6th instead of November 30th. But then we had the November 6th show. So we just ran that last week. I went out and filmed for Crappie Talk Live, which actually just dropped on BTL Tuesday.
It was a good show. It was a good show.
Thank you. It's, like I said, it's a passion project, but it's fun. I have no idea how that will be received. But you know what? I enjoy it. I'm doing it. It's educational, and there's a lot of information that can be gleaned if you are just a bass guy from it too. And then also just watching fish behavior and where they are and stuff.
It was cool. It was a lot of fun to watch. You know, I get amped up when I see it.
Yeah, there's some people that don't enjoy it. There's some people that like it.
Yeah,
all sorts of different stuff. All right, right off the hopper, Frank. We are up for an award, and if you've ever wondered how you can support BTL Day 4 and that type of stuff, behind, I got a couple pictures from the Toyota Series Championship of dudes wearing the new BTL merch on stage.
That's excellent. Yeah.
Which was really cool. But this is totally free, and we are requesting the BTL Day 4 family of viewers and listeners support. And it will take you 30 seconds, and it will go a heck of a long way.
Yes, please get out and vote.
The link is in the bio. The Best on Tour Awards announced the top 3 nominees in each category. So for the past 2 months, you could go through and just do write-in ballots for it. And they narrowed it down to the top 3. And one of you can go through all, there's catch of the year, best boat wrap, best tournament performance, all that. And then it gets down into some industry stuff. And there is a best bass fishing podcast category.
Oh, we gotta do it, man. We gotta take that.
And we are up against Bass Talk Live, Mercer, and Bass After Dark. All 3 quality shows. Yeah. The other 2, BTC, Ken Duke, love what they do at Bass After Dark. Love what Mercer does with his show, Mercer. I think we might be voting against Canada, the entire country. We've got a whole country that we have to vote against. We have to overcome. Plus, he's got 17 million YouTube subscribers.
Dang, dude. That's
so he's been politicking pretty hard to try to get votes for the Best on Tour Awards, because it does come with an exclusive die cut medal, a blue die cut medal and stuff. But BTL has never won an award, Frank.
What?
But I think Day 4 at BTL is award worthy.
I think it's award winning.
Award winning. So the link is in the bio for this show. You can also just go to bestontour.net, and then in the top corner you can click on the Best on Tour Awards, bestontour.net/awards to also get to it. Go down, vote for Bass Talk Live for the best fishing podcast.
We have to get it. I didn't know. You guys never won anything?
Well, what would we be up for?
Well, I don't know.
This is the first time that it's happened.
Oh, well, okay.
We do have a lot of Canadians that watch BTL.
We do actually. we actually do, and I've been in contact with quite a few, and great group of people, and you'd be surprised how many women anglers are in that group too. It surprised me, and it's very exciting to see. Yeah.
Can we sweeten the pot? And should BTL win, I think we celebrated that it'll be November 24th. So that week of Thanksgiving is when it closes. So we'll be back live December 4th. I think we should maybe give away some.
I'm writing this down.
We should give away. If BTL wins, I think we celebrate. And if you don't think we can do this, that we don't. But to close out the year and celebrate 3 live $50 gift cards to lurenet.com if BTL wins.
Yes, we'll do it.
3 during that show on December 4th.
Yes. I'm saying yes, but I know it'll be yes.
So
we'll do it. I think that'll be cool if we win. Hopefully we win.
It's like I said, it's whoever wins that category, well deserved. I know how much Ken Duke and BTC and the crew over at Bass After Dark put in. I watch that show regularly, and obviously Mercer puts out a lot of content, does a lot of work. So
yeah, no question about it. Good podcast. Really good. Outstanding. How cold is it by you?
It is 50.
All right.
It's not bad at all.
Yeah, our snow just melted.
Really?
Yeah, we got a little dusting of 2 to 4 inches, and it's finally gone.
Definitely winter. No, it's 50 now. It's going to be 75. I went and filmed with Zeke Anderson, CTL Crappie Talk Live yesterday, and we absolutely blistered them. Like, we caught between 40 and 50 over 1 3/4 pounds.
Oh man, dude.
And they were aggressive.
See, you can't beat that, dude. When they come charging the bait, it's like all anticipation and excitement.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
I did something really interesting. We found a little patch of them where they were all like 175s. We're voting on the best bass fishing podcast and the best on tour awards. You can fill out the rest of it. I mean, there's best bass fishing TikToker, best photo of the year, best celebration, best tournament performance, all of that. bestontour.net. And then up in the top corner of the right there, you see best on tour awards or just bestontour.net/awards. Justin asked what we're voting for. We're voting for BTL for the best podcast. And then 3, you guys will benefit if we win from that. Anyway, I had have you dove into the dice game yet, Frank? So
no, I can't go there, man.
You can, you should, and you will. But I had brought, so this is like the big one, right, that I've got back here. Like, yeah. I mean, that's like if you make a fist, that's like the size of your fist right there. Like, but they make a tiny one called the 13. It's like a 13 Miller, whatever, how long it is. But it's like that, but it's got all those spiky things. And I was like, you know what would be awesome is if I could get a little viral clip for CTO where I put one of those on a jig head, drop it down, and a crappie eats it. And they're like, oh my God, crappie will eat the Koike ball too. Frank,
they crashed it.
They were terrified of it.
They ran away from it.
We were about a 95 to 100% catch rate on dropping the little jigs down. You know how it is. You've done it.
Yeah.
And you know how those fish light up and come up and suck it in. So, I mean, these fish are like, it's 100% a catchable fish. And I put that Koike ball down on it on the jig head and I shake it and here it comes. And it gets about 2 feet from it. It literally stops. You can see it's processing something in its head that's like, what in the hell is this thing? And then, dude, that thing, Michael Phelps swam down to the bottom as fast as it possibly could. I said, oh, that's just a neutral fish. I said, we'll get the next one. Same exact thing, 3 crappie in a row, terrified of it.
That is wild.
Absolutely terrified of it. I don't know why. Zeke was going, there's no way. I said, it looks like an alien. I said, I think they're going to eat it. He's like, no, they won't. I said, I'll bet money that they'll still eat it. Cause they did not eat it.
Holy smokes, man.
Not eat it, but scared of it.
They bolted from it.
Yeah.
That is wild, man. So if you're fishing that thing and you get bumps, you can't say, I think that was a crappie bite.
No.
You can't say that.
Definitely not.
So yeah. So, what's weird, dude? So I went out fishing, I think it was a week or so ago. And the water temperatures dropped significantly. And I was out there and I was throwing, this might have been 2 weeks ago. And I was throwing a square bill, a jerk bait, a jig. I'm going through in my head everything I had on. I had a lot of shit out. I had
the yard sale. We call that a yard sale day.
I had two crankbaits on, deep divers, because I usually catch them really good in the winter on big crankbaits, but it's got to be the winter. I had a chatterbait out. I had all kinds of stuff out. And so what I wound up catching them on was the square bill, the chatterbait, and the jerkbait, and the jig. So I had got onto a little something where these fish were in the first quarter mouths of the creek. And it was pretty predictable. As the morning progressed, I said, I want to go check my main lake stuff, because I know in the wintertime they get on some of this deeper structure and I can plaster them. So I went out to the deep stuff and it was literally vacant. It was like vacant. I'm like, wow, that's highly unusual. So the day ends. I went and I caught. Before I went home, I went out and I caught 8 crappie and brought the 8 crappie home. I caught about 30, but I only kept 8 of them and brought them home. And it started bugging me about the bass fishing. So the next good day I got, which was probably Saturday or Sunday, I don't remember now, just a few days ago, I went back because I'm like, I missed something, because I just thought I missed something. So I went back and I had with me, I had the chatterbait, the square bill, the jig, the micro jig, jerk baits. So here's what happens. I'm like, okay, maybe I needed to get real slow on them, drag the micro football jig down there. Maybe I was rushing a little bit. So I go back out. I know they're in the first quarter of these creeks. So I am like hyper focused. And I'm using the jerkbait I was using is the Flashpoint Junior, the little dude. It's like 3.5 inches maybe. And I switched my square bill because I was using what used to be called the Flex 2. It's not made anymore. It's a Booyah bait. That's what I was throwing the first time. I didn't get bid on it, and I switched to the Fat Boy because I've had very good wintertime experiences with the Fat Boy, in spite of the fact that it's got a monster wide wobble to it. I just had a lot of success with the Fat Boy. So I switched to the Fat Boy and went to the little Flashpoint Junior. The
deep or just the regular?
Just the regular one.
Oh, okay.
I'll show you why in a minute, because I have diagrams. So yes. I go, dude, I'm not lying, man. So I go in this creek and I go to the bank and I throw the chatterbait a few times. I don't get bit. I pick up the Flashpoint Junior. I pitch it out there. I'm working it. I catch one, and I'm like, okay, I can do the jerkbait all day. I love the jerkbait, so I could do the jerkbait all day. I'm working my way around, and I go to cut across a pocket mouth, and I see some fish down there, and I'm like, holy crap. Those could be crappie, perch, bluegill, whatever. So I know it's too deep for the Flashpoint Junior, but I chuck it out there anyway. And I'm watching the Flashpoint Junior on my live scope. And I pull it down. I get it down to depth. It gets down about 5 feet, 6 feet. And then I'm watching it, and it's slowly dropping in the water column, like super slow. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to reach these fish. And I let it sink, and I get over a couple of them, and I just shake the rod tip like that. And all of a sudden,
you didn't.
No, dude, I didn't move the bait. I just shook the rod tip, and the bait just sits there and quivers. And all of a sudden it goes, boom, and I lean in, and I got one. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is painfully slow, but it is. They did not want it moving at all. Like if I moved it, they wouldn't even respond to it. I literally had to just leave it there, and it was wild. So I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna plaster them today. So I'm in the middle. So here this is only a representation of what I was fishing. This is by no means accurate in size or anything. It's just oh,
you're good.
It's just a representation.
How do I do that?
There you go.
I thought I could go full screen with you.
I don't know, but it doesn't matter. So this is the main river channel.
Okay.
Out here is the main lake. This is a pocket. Now
Holy cow, you've upgraded your colors, Frank.
Yeah, I got a little goofy the other day. So keep in mind something here. These distances are a lot.
Not to scale.
It's not to scale. I couldn't fit it on this piece of paper. So at any rate, so initially, okay, I usually catch them out here in the winter. I usually catch them out here. All right. As winter's approaching, I get them in here, over here, and over here, right where the deep water ends. If this lake doesn't have grass in it, okay, I wish it did, but it doesn't have grass in it, because if it had grass in it, this is where I would be focusing in the wintertime. Right where the deeper water meets the grass flats is where I'd be focusing, but this lake doesn't have any. So they sit in here also in the wintertime. So when I came in, when I fished my way in the first time, I caught them out here, and I caught them out here, and I caught them in here, and I caught them in here. The obvious places I caught them. So when I cut across this thing and saw these fish out in the middle of these pockets here, I thought, oh, a field day time. I'm going to have a field day. So I go in there and I catch a handful on the jerkbait. Then I picked up a minnow. I forgot to say that I had a jig of minnow on too. So then I picked up the minnow, and I caught a bunch on the minnow. And I said, well, let me get back to the square bill. So I had picked up a Norman Fat Boy. It's a paint job that, I'll be honest, is coming out, I think, next year. And the watercolor was perfect for it. And I said, I have to throw this. So I picked it up, and I immediately went to the bank, and I catch 4 in a row. And I'm like, what? They're out here. They're up there. They're halfway between. They're in all different places. And so I'm like, what is going on? So I decided that I'm going to use this smaller creek as my pattern developer, if you will. And then I'm going to advance to a bigger creek, because once I know what's going on in the smaller creek.
Classic day 4 strategy for those who haven't watched all 221 prior to this.
Yeah, correct. So once I know what's going on in here, I could translate that to the bigger creeks and not waste time. So I leave there, and it's painful, because I'm running by spots that I know they winter on in the main lake, and I'm running by them all. And I get to this other creek, and here, truth be told, I didn't fish this creek ever. So I just
matched the pattern.
Yeah, I just matched the pattern. The reason I picked 3 of the creeks that I picked one, I fished before. Two, I've never fished before. And all I was trying to do is duplicate. So by the time I get to the second creek, the only thing I got out is the flash point. I have a junior and a junior deep, the square bill, the fat boy, Norman fat boy, and a jig and minnow. Because those three baits were giving me the most bites, and to be honest with you, it almost split evenly, a third, and a third. I will say I caught a few more on the minnow, but negligibly. So it was literally a third, and a third. And so I go in this creek, and the first thing I do is I said, well, I'm going to do this in order. I'm going to go to the bank with the square bill first. So I go to the bank, and there's a floating dock where you drive jet skis on them, them plastic things.
And you sank it.
Yeah, I sank it, and I roll cast.
You didn't. Okay.
No, I roll cast the fat boy up against it. I get two reel turns. Boom! I got one, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hammer him. I go to the other side. I catch another one off the other side of it because it was like four of them black things wide. Mm-hmm. So I go through here, and I catch them, and then there's a point where I stopped catching bass in the little creek. So I'm like, how far back are they going in this big one? Because little creeks are easier to manage. So how far back are they going? And lo and behold, it was like in the little creek, it was about a third of the way back. And it was the same thing in the bigger creek, about a third of the way back. And then I couldn't get bit. So when I worked all the way to the end, because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing.
So you're basically, once you thinking third of the creek, like when you get halfway, when you get three quarters, hey, I am just making sure that I'm not missing anything. Is there something in your mind that's going, God, I hope I don't get a bite way back here?
100%. 100%. Because I'm like, if I get bit back here, then
blows up everything you've been working on.
Right. Then all of a sudden I'm back out to having 10 rods in the boat.
Okay.
And all that. So I do this, and as soon as I got to that third mark, the bites stopped, like completely stopped. So on the way out, that's when I picked up the minnow and the jerkbait, because now that I know I've done the bank, now I'm going to meticulously cover what I didn't cover. Well, I found structural stuff in this creek, and every old road beds, rock piles, big giant stumps like the size of the front of your truck. Every piece of that stuff had fish on it.
Wow. Water temp?
48.
Wow.
Every piece of that stuff had fish on it. And I caught everything. I caught perch, bass, crappie, bluegill. I caught everything. And it was so wild, because the one thing that I noticed more than anything was once I got past to where I was catching fish in the smaller creek, that first third, it was almost void of fish.
Where was the bait, Frank? Was there bait?
There was bait in the centers towards the mouth.
Okay.
There was not a whole lot of bait once I started getting back. The farther back I went, the less bait I saw.
I just experienced that the last 3 days.
Isn't it crazy?
In Oklahoma, it's 52, 53 degree water. I think the lakes it's not great right now just because of the massive weather drop we just had. But what you just described was, I went to 3 little lakes, 1 big lake, and all the bait was at the mouth of either the one main creek in it or the mouths of the deeper cuts. And I would say, we need to get back in there because it's still water in the low 50s.
Yeah.
And it would get back, and there would be no pieces of bait.
No.
There in Oklahoma, they were still out in that first third.
Yeah. See, ours already moved up. They moved up a month ago. And I think they're finally starting to transition into their winter locations, which is what we're going to talk about now. Mm-hmm. So since I have this map, I'll do this map real quick and easy. And then I want to I'm going to go to a Navionics map. So in reservoirs, all right, you're going to have main lake wintering areas and you're going to have creek wintering areas. The creek wintering areas are the easiest places to find them because they're concentrated. The main lake areas is much more tricky because you have to cover a lot of water to find the fish. And remember, in the wintertime, in the warm months, fish occupy much wider range in the water column. As the water gets colder and colder and colder, so does the bass's range. One key in the winter is bass will prefer a little steeper break versus a gradual break. Now, this is only true if there's lack of cover. If the gradual breaks have cover on them, they'll prefer a depth range, and then it's up to you to figure the depth range out, and that can vary from day to day because bass will suspend or not suspend according to where the bait fish is and what's going on. So they want a little steeper break, and that doesn't mean a bluff wall. Okay, it could mean a bluff wall, but it doesn't mean a bluff wall. It's just a steeper break in the contour line. So for example, you will have a steeper break on this inside edge. You'll have a steeper break here. You have the steeper break right out here by the main channel. And this looks like a bluff on my map, but this is actually a small flat that comes out, and it probably comes out 10 feet from the shore. And it's only 4 feet deep until you hit the river channel. Then it plunges down to about 22. Okay. But they use the edge of that flat. So what
clay,
happens,
gravel, rubble, like what are we talking? What is, you said no grass in this lake, but kind of what are we talking bank composition?
So I'm talking hard bottom. It could be gravel.
Okay.
It could be rock, but it has to be hard bottom.
Okay.
They don't want the mud. They'll go here. I'm saying a lot of things. They'll use the mud when the perch are using the mud if perch is the main forage base. Because the perch will eat the invertebrates and small crustaceans that are in the mud. And so the perch will gravitate to those areas in the wintertime to feed. And if the bass are feeding on perch, they're going to follow them down there. But for the most part, it's hard bottom. So the break doesn't have to be deep. That's the thing. Everybody thinks it's steep, deep. Oh, it's got to be steep and deep. It doesn't have to be. A lot of my wintertime fishing is in 4 to 10 feet of water, 4 to 12 feet of water. In most cases, there are some instances where I'm catching them much deeper. And that's just because the lake I'm on gives me that water clarity, light penetration, etc. Everything is, you got to take everything into account. So that's what happens. But there's lakes like, let me see if I can do this. I want to pull the map up. Am I on it?
You're on it.
Okay, so I have to go to.
Looks like you're on the Ohio River right now.
Yeah, I am, but I have to do something here. I've got to reduce my screen. You're good, Matt. Pull it back up. I got it.
For those listening on iTunes, he's just pulled up his Garmin Active Captain to actually, and now he's just removed his Garmin Active Captain on his own.
Yeah, I did something very bad here.
You could just share that screen again, Frank.
What? I had life going. Life was good for a minute.
Oh, I know. We even got on early to.
Now it's bad.
To complain about things and practice our active captains on the show today.
Yeah, hold on. I got to redo this. I am such an imbecile.
In the meantime, while you're redoing that, I'd like to remind everybody that voting is now open for the Best on Tour Awards. Simply go to bestontour.net. That's what it looks like right there. Then you go in the top corner, the Best on Tour Awards. There's all the different categories. And then you can scroll down to the best bass fishing podcast. There it is. Bass After Dark, Mercer, and Bass Talk Live. Would really appreciate your vote for BTL. One of the things I did not mention also was that everyone who votes will be entered to win a $200 prize pack from the Best on Tour Awards. So you also have a chance to do that. I'm also under Bass Fishing Pundit along with Kumar and Mark Zona.
Nice.
I don't know if I belong in that category with those two, but I think Zona wins that one running away.
Yeah, I think he does. I think he does. All right.
Unless it's overall, like if you want to throw the MPFL and the MLF stuff and all the different levels in there, he's pretty bass centric.
Right on.
All right. Are we back with the maps?
I think. Am I working it? Is it working?
It's working. Let's give her a shot.
All right, give it a shot. So I'm looking for something here. And why am I in Colorado?
Oh boy. Now we've got the US. What are we trying to pull up here?
I'm trying to go to Toledo Bend.
Okay. Well, you're getting close there. You're way now. Get Austin off of there. Come on, Longhorns. You got to go more to the right. There's Nacogdoches. Yeah. Okay. Nope. That's Richland Chambers.
Nope.
You got to go more the other way.
This way?
Nope. Other way. Now scroll down. Zoom out just a little. Yep. There they are down in the far corner down there.
Got it. Okay.
I believe that's Rayburn.
Yeah, that's Toledo Bend.
There you go.
Okay, so
that's the only time that me giving directions means the show has gone completely off the rails.
It's off the rails. So here's what I want to show you, because the big giant reservoirs like the ones in Texas and some of the big ones across the country, it's the same principle as that little tiny map that I pulled up.
Yep.
Only it's not. So here's what happens. In the little tiny map I pulled up, this is what we were focusing on, because that's the only big part of the creek, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in these lakes, this creek really comes all the way out here to the main river. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So if I zoom in on it, you're going to see how you have the drain. Can you see the little hand moving?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you see how you have the drain that comes in here, which dead ends into this pocket, right? So here's what happens. Fall, they're making their migrations. They make their migrations. Water's getting colder. Fish start backing out. So depending on how near you are to being mid-fall, your fish are going to start to be pulling out into these positions in here. As winter approaches, they're going to start to pull out even farther. And so what happens is on these reservoirs, they'll winter out here. They'll literally winter in these gut mouths. All right. That's why you see a lot of times on some of these southern impoundments like this, that in, February, depending how far south you go, January, February, March, they're fishing out here and working their way in because the bass haven't gotten up in here to spawn yet. So they're still wintering out here. And that's the main difference between small reservoirs and gigantic reservoirs. In small reservoirs, the creek behave like lakes themselves because they're tinier. And in the big reservoirs, you have to take into account how far out the channel goes. And go ahead, Matt.
I just finish your thought. I just thought of a fishery that I did this exact thing on in March and cashed a check in the opens a couple years ago. And I literally was doing exactly what you're describing right now. So continue.
Yeah, because that's exactly how they behave in these things. So where the small lake, the smaller reservoirs, your 3,000 acre to 5,000 acre reservoirs, this is your creek right here. Okay, this is your creek, and then it's main lake. But on these reservoirs, these big giant impoundments, and it's like Toledo Bend, Rayburn, Eufaula, Gunnersville, Chickamauga, all those type of lakes. This creek actually comes all the way out to here. And you have to look at that, because that's really what they're using.
Yeah.
And
you know what's cool? You can combine this now. And then did you see that Deep Dive just came out with current generation and schedule on the app? So now
Yes,
you
I
can
did.
combine this stuff on those lakes with the current generation and stuff.
We're going to talk current in a minute because I'm gonna transfer over to river systems because
Okay.
they're entirely different.
Okay.
But so anyway, so here's the deal. So now in the wintertime, I'm focusing on areas like this transition, this inside swing here, and this area right here. Because when you see guys that are out there and they're throwing an A-rig, for example, and just pummeling fish, that's because they found them suspending over the main gut of the creek channel. So the micro football jigs, the jerk baits, etc., they come into play when you actually have contour lines and shallower areas that the fish will relate to. So they'll suspend. See how steep this is?
Mm-hmm.
So in the wintertime, here's why fish prefer steeper breaks. In the wintertime, it's easier for them to rise and go down than it is, for example, to swim all the way over to here. So they're not going to make this big travel move in the wintertime. It's easier for them to sit out here and just go up and down. They don't have to cover a lot of water. They can do it with their air bladders, essentially. And so that's why these spots become important. Now, I wanted to show you this for a reason, because this is going to play when we transfer to the river systems. This is going to play. So remember, summertime, the fish will be out. As fall approaches, they're moving in, and they're going to hold on all the usual suspects, steeper breaks, inside curves, inside swings, and they're going to use this creek channel edge as a roadmap to get where they got to go. Then they'll spawn here in the spring, and then when spring is over, you're going to summer, they're doing the same thing on the way out. Mm-hmm. So when you catch them before the pre-spawn out here, you could go at post-spawn and catch them out here too. They're using it like a roadmap, but this is important. This is important right here. So I'm gonna switch gears unless you got questions.
No, all I was gonna say was this is exactly so one of the lakes that has all these, and it was the first time I had really fished a lake like that. It was Lake Washita in Arkansas.
Oh yeah, that lake is so clear too.
And dude. Yeah, but the entire bite was predicated around the bass's position in the drains.
Yeah, 100%.
And it literally was like you could look on the map at the drain based on what was behind it, how its proximity to the main river channel, to major lake arms, things like that. And you know, after I'd kind of done exactly what you just described with the pattern, I started running around, and then I found one that just had bigger than average fish in it. And that was the one that I ended up fishing in. But it was like one of those things where there would be 100-yard section in every drain. And if you weren't paying attention, it would be like, oh, I'm catching them out of every drain, but not really good. But what you were really doing was you were catching them really good out of one small section in the drain, but they were in that section in every drain in like the whole bottom third of the lake. And then they were in a little bit different section in the middle third of the lake, and then top with based on watercolor, but exactly what you just described. And I think I ended up finishing 20 something in that tournament in the open.
Perfect.
But it literally awesome representation there.
Yeah. So now I'm going to go to a river. And the reason I'm picking this is because I'm very familiar with it. Okay, so in a river system, what happens in early fall, I'm trying to find my...
You're getting dangerously close to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Which is not known for its quality river bassin.
Yeah, just you got to give me a second because I am really annoyed at myself right now. It's hard for me to find exactly what I'm looking for here.
I'm not sure what you're looking for either, so you're on your own here. I can't tell you this way or that way.
I will find it in a moment here.
In the meantime, I'd like to... No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, in the meantime, God almighty, what is wrong with me?
What are we looking for?
I found it.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, that looks good.
Okay, so here's what happens. This is just happens to be the Ohio River. Okay, so here's what happens on these big river systems like this. As fall approaches, and this is, by the way, this is exactly how I made my first regional, my first Redman regional. So as fall approaches, what these bass are going to do is they're going to stage on these river mouths, these secondary. See how it's a secondary creek or a river that goes into the main river. They stage on these spots in the fall. And so what I wound up doing was, believe it or not, I wound up Carolina rigging and throwing a Hopkins spoon, vertical jigging a Hopkins spoon. At the time, War Eagle wasn't around then.
Yeah.
They didn't, none of that was there.
Yeah, that's old school right there.
This is old school.
Probably on mono.
Yeah, 100% mono. And so, yeah, exactly. And so what I found was early on in my experience, this is where they staged in the fall. Now you could catch them early fall, running flats and stuff down the bank, like places like this where you got fingers that come out and stuff like that. That's early in the fall. This is later in the fall. Mm-hmm. And so that's when I started targeting these places. And what happened, what I found out because when I was younger, I used to get my brains kicked in on the Ohio River all the time. And I said, I'm never doing that again. So in my spare time, every free minute I had, I ran down to the river to fish it, no matter what time of year it was, because I had to learn what goes on in the river system so I could continually do mm-hmm. it. So what I found is that, so you get places like this, and they load up here late in the fall, right? What I learned by fishing the Hudson River, which I was going to go to the Hudson, but I'm not going to go to the Hudson River because it'll take me too long to find it after this fiasco.
How did you make it down to Texas?
I'm not 100% sure.
How did you make it to the Hall of Fame?
I'm not 100% sure, man. But so what they do in the wintertime is they'll mm-hmm. literally they will winter in the mouths of these areas right here, in the mouths of these creeks.
This is similar to how Gussie won the Classic.
Maybe so. I mean, I'm just telling you what I learned. And so that's what happens in the winter. Now, there's other wintering positions that they'll use on the main river system, but now I'm going to have to find one that's acceptable. This will work. So on the main river systems, the current's going this way. See the direction that the hand is going down, the current is traveling this way. So you would look at this and go, oh, this will be great, except that it's getting the brunt of the current on it.
Okay.
So in the wintertime, what you want the lee side of things. It is still going to have current because current's important, but it's not going to be the full force.
And that means they're just going to have to work less
correct.
To stay there, which means they're not burning as much. And then the food is coming to them. So they're able to maximize their energy versus their correct. Energy output to caloric intake.
Correct. So you're going to find areas like this that are on the main river that offer some type of current break for them, and they'll winter in these areas. It's really cool, and they'll do the same thing on the where am I going? Get over here. They'll do the same thing on spots like this, where you have a big flat and the channel hooks into the flat. They'll stack up in here in the wintertime, and they'll stack up over here in the wintertime. Anything that's going to offer them that current break. Now, something that I overlooked, of course, this is a great wintering spot. It's plenty deep. They can get out of the main flow, blah, blah, blah. The one thing I overlooked that is so important on these river systems is the lock, because I have had some of the best days in the winter on these rivers ever fishing this stuff right here. This is the lock where you go in, fishing this stuff right in here. Yeah, because the only current, you're going to get an eddy flow in here.
Yep.
So when the current runs over the dam, it runs down the lock wall, and then it breaks, you're going to get that eddy in here. And so what happens is the current gets less and less until they open the lock doors to let something through. And when they open the lock doors, it's like manna from heaven because the bass put the feed bag on.
So you just, as Sean pointed out, you just used the term manna from heaven on the Ohio River.
Yeah, I know. I know. I probably should have.
Maybe a little overstayed. You have your best opportunity to catch a keeper.
Yeah, I probably should have went to the Hudson. No, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something true to word. Back in the old days, I brought a buyer out fishing, and we fished on the Ohio River, and very close to where I just showed you, by the by. And we were out there, and it was a flood stage. It was an absolute flood stage, which I didn't know because we didn't have the weather apps and stuff like we have now. And when I got there, I went, holy crap, I gotta use my winter techniques here because I need the current was dangerous. So we ran up behind one of the locks, and we caught smallmouth bass, and we caught a pile of them. You would have thought we were fishing Lake Erie if you've seen the size of those bass.
Huh.
It was unbelievable. And so that's all I'm saying is you have to understand, what you're up against when it comes to wintertime fishing. Now, I went to the Hudson because there is something that I want to show you. I wrote a note down so I could almost find it relatively quick.
While Uncle Frank is looking for that, I'd like to encourage everybody to go to bestontour.net, vote for BTL for the best bass fishing podcast, bestontour.net/awards, or you can just click on the link in the bio. Greatly appreciate it.
You just bear with me a minute because this is crazy stuff. All right, here we go. Did I find it? Let me see. What's my name? Okay, this will work. So on the Hudson, so you have this stuff here going on. You've got these islands here. This all breaks.
That looks like such a cluster.
It is. This all breaks up the current, right? But here's the problem. When I first fished the Hudson River the first time, I didn't realize it had a 6-foot tide, 4.5 to 6 foot tide, depending on where I was. So you have to take that into consideration. So what happens is this is a dead end slough right here. So they will actually winter in the dead end slough. But because you have a 4-foot tide, you aren't going to get them back up in here because the tide's too strong. But you'll get them back in this ditch area over here on them. So you have to be smart about what you're looking at depending on the body of water. So as it hooks out here, this is a major winter holding area. Now you also have one out on the main river system. You see how the current goes down this way. You see how this hooks in like that. This is perfect because you have a 15-foot shelf over here. You have a good inside swing to help block current, and the fish will be plastered right up against this swing, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a perfect wintertime area for this type of river system because remember, this is a tidal river. And so all tidal rivers will behave the same.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I wanted to show you. The other thing I wanted to show you is this area right here, because this is super important because we know that the main current's running out, but when the tide shifts, then you got the current coming back in. So this spot here offers them current breaks on this side when the current's one way, current breaks on this side when it's another way. They have a nice deep spot here where they can really tuck back and get out of the current no matter which way it's going. This is textbook.
Hey, what are those squiggly lines on the damn map, Frank? I've always wondered that.
Ferry crossing, maybe. I'm gonna guess if I'm a betting man.
I've seen those. I've never known what the hell they're for.
Yeah,
and then also I would assume that the pink lines are is the channel, because sometimes you'll get on the lakes and sometimes those pink lines will just go take off across a flat or something. There's
like
that a boat lane or what? Yeah.
That's for the barge traffic.
Okay.
So they don't hit anything. But yeah,
someone said maybe an underwater power line or something there.
No, this is for navigation.
No. I'm talking about the squiggly. See how random they are? Like zoom out. I have noticed those, like those say overhead cables right there. But I have noticed those on a ton of fisheries that I'm on. I have no freaking clue what they are. Or like the red circle things too. I've never understood what those are for either.
Oh, these things.
Yeah, what are those for? I have no clue what those are.
I don't know.
I've never known that. I've always wondered that for years. I figured you would know that.
I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so that was a different kind of turn. So
sorry, completely unrelated. Back to
that's okay. So anyway, so this is the kind of stuff you're going to look for, and it's close. They're close enough to good feeding flats, so when the tide is up, they'll feed on top of these things, even though it's wintertime, because it's super steep. They don't have to travel far to get there. And so that's what you got to keep in mind. But anyway, believe it or not, I thought about this because of my experience the last 2 times out. So how on earth we got to those places from Cleveland, Ohio is beyond me.
I love it.
So yeah, so that's that for the map.
I have a couple questions that have come across for the past 20 minutes that I've favorited. Do you want to knock those out really quick?
Yeah, let's bang them out.
All right, this goes back to the reservoirs and where you're catching them, Sean. And we've kind of covered this in the past. Sean wants to know: does Frank ever use Megabass 110s, or is he strictly throwing lure net?
No, I use all kinds of stuff. I have Strike King jerk baits. I have flash points. I have pointers. Lucky Craft stuff. I don't do a lot with the Megabasses. I just don't fish them a lot.
I can attest. I have seen your go-to jerkbait boxes, and I think you've got maybe 2 Megabass, 2 or 3 total, like in all of your stuff. Yeah. Like what you throw is probably 75 to 80% Pradco stuff, whether it's a Rogue or a Flashpoint or some other model of that. And then,
so I have some Pradco baits that are discontinued.
Yeah.
That I live on, like the TX3, that series. I live on those baits, but that's just me. And then I took a walleye bait and I suspended it and made it into a bass bait for jerk baiting, the 24A.
That's what you threw on Zona.
Yeah.
That was awesome fishing show when you blistered them.
100%. I mean, so I do a lot of things. I tinker. Well, this is great. This is actually a great question. This is a really good question. So I tinker a lot with situations that I encounter. One thing that I realized that a lot of anglers make a mistake at in the I'll say mid-fall range, I think they're using lures too big. I downsize my baits because the shad, the bass are going after little 2.5-inch shad. And so I downsize my baits. So that's why I chose the Flashpoint Junior in this instance, or the old Excalibur jerkbait, which is 3 1/8 of an inch long, because the bass are targeting that smaller bait. As the fall progresses and winter becomes, you could start to go larger and larger because the food choice that they make is going to be one that will sustain them for longer periods of time. So they'll go after the bigger baits. Here's the tinkering thing. So this is so unbelievably unrelated. It's actually not unrelated. So there was a bait a million years ago. Cotton Cordell made it. It's a tiny little crankbait, about yay big. And I have a buddy of mine.
2 3/4 inches for those on iTunes.
Yeah, 2 3/4 inch. And it turns out it's really good in the wintertime. You add lead to it, make it suspend. and it's like a miniaturized jerkbait, and its build deflection characteristics help you be able to fish it through grass. If you're lucky enough to have a grass lake, you could fish it through grass. So Bandit came out with this new walleye series called the Bandit Walleye Shad. And I was looking at them online because I really have no use for them as a bass angler. So I was looking at them online, and I went, oh my God, that looks just like blah, blah, blah. And I started researching, and of course they suspend, and I'm like, holy crap. There's a place for this in the bass community. So I dove into, I only got 3 sizes. All right. This is crazy. I only got 3 sizes. I got the smallest, then the next size up, then the middle size up. And so they dive, the smallest one will dive about 6 to 8. The next size up dives 8 to 10, and the next size up dives 10 to 12. Now they have a bigger one that goes even deeper. But to be honest with you, I had a gift card, so I was using my gift card, and I ran out, so I couldn't get the biggest size. So anyhow, I just want to show you this thing. This is very cool. So this is the Bandit Walleye Shad. This bait here is, what do we say, 2.5 inches about?
Yeah, which size is that? There's 4 sizes.
This is the number 1.
This is the smallest?
Yeah, this is the smallest.
The smallest is 2 3/8 inches. Now, remember, if you listen to day 4, Frank has gone through this number of times. That is not the entire length of the bait. That is the body of the bait is 2 3/8 inches long.
Right, just the body. So because it suspends, because it's small bodied, now
your wheels are turning.
Yes. So so this is my experimental box for this winter. This is my experimental box.
Oh.
And I promise you, I absolutely promise you, this is going to work insanely well.
So this is the wild thing. If you use capital BTL 25, you not only let LureNet know they're supporting BTL, but you get 15% off regularly priced items. Bandit Walleye Shad, regularly priced, is $5.99 each.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
You can get 20 of them for $100 using the 15% off code.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
But you're not saying like you haven't smashed him on it yet. You're saying it's like one of those things that has every element that you're looking for in a bait, like high potential bait.
Yeah, I literally just got him 3 days ago.
I mean, there's no way that is not going to work.
100%, dude. There's no way it's not going to work. And so, and the cool thing about it is that the bigger size, when the bass get back on the main lake, the bigger size.
Oh, that would work so good.
The bigger size is going to give me the ability to fish the ledges because it gets down to like 17 feet.
Is that a bait like in your hand or you're holding it? Like you hold a shad wrap and you're like, yeah, I'm casting that with a spinning rod 100%. Does this have enough weight to where you can put 10-pound cranking and throw it on a crankbait rod with a bait caster?
100%, because it's got a casting system in it. Which is the other reason why I was gravitating towards it. You hear it? Mm-hmm. Oh, I got to do it over here.
I could see that in the clear pattern right there, like on the real like Highland reservoirs with spotted bass in the winter.
Dude, I could see that in my basement getting my paint jobs on it. That's what I see happening with that clear one.
What colors did you go with?
Okay, I went with that color there.
Oh, sorry.
Which I don't know the names of all.
I've got them all right here. Blue Shiner.
I went to Blue Shiner, chrome blue and orange. Here, I could show you. I'll show you the bigger ones since they'll stand out.
Yeah, I just wanted to see in case people are going to try experiment along with it. Sean says that he only throws $25 plus lures, so he feels bougie and Japanese when he loses them.
So I got typical blue, chrome, and orange.
Mm-hmm. The code does work better if you vote for BTL, the best on 2 awards.
I got
best podcast.
I got black and chrome.
Okay. When are you going to throw the chrome in the cold? You don't really see chrome a lot in cold water.
Well, I got it because it's the closest thing to a real minnow that they had.
So is that a thing that you might take a X-Acto knife and scrape some sides off of that chrome?
I got that one. I'm going to dust it up a little.
Yeah, that's the blue shiner.
And then the perch.
Yep.
Which I'm really leaning towards perch and blue shiner, to be honest with you.
Oh, you make me nervous.
But yeah, so that's all I got. I got those colors. And I didn't, it's my bad because I didn't see the clear-bodied ones, so I'd have bought them and just painted them. But because
is this new or is this something that's been out for a while that you just have?
It's brand new, and I just didn't even know about it till like a month ago.
I'll tell you what, they're going to be over at their LureNet headquarters, and all of a sudden there's just going to be a hot run on bandit walleye shads in about 20 minutes. Well, be going, what the hell is going on over here?
Well, but we were talking about tweaking stuff out, and you guys know
that was perfect.
I have to screw around with everything because nothing is status quo. But sometimes those little minnow baits in the winter are deadly, and and the reason I took the perch color is because it's perch and bluegill. It could be either or in the water, but I'm going to paint some because I have some colors that I really want. And so I'm going to paint them because they're essentially they're a walleye bait. So they're not going to they have like 4 or 5 colors that will appeal to a bass guy. And I think it needs more. I think it needs more. But I have to go prove it first.
Like, so. I don't I think that these things would work. I just don't think people throw them. Like the Wonder Bread, this is fruit dots right there.
Yeah, I mean the smallmouth have a tendency for flashy color, but the walleye, see, I like that color a lot because I know not for bass.
I would throw that for bass.
You'd probably catch smallmouth on it, to be honest.
I think you could catch largemouth on that. But I would not at all hesitate to throw that for largemouth, Frank. Why would you not throw sick monkey?
Because I paint.
I know, but like, I'm asking you seriously though. Like, what do you not like about that for like a largemouth? Let's just pick Lake Texoma. What do you not like about that for?
I think it would trigger bites. I'm just going to be honest. I think you could get bites on that. Okay. I think you could get bites on any color in the right circumstance. But my bass colors are a little more bassy.
Okay. You want to knock out the rest of these questions?
Yeah, let's do it. My bad.
All right. No. That's all good. Why choose the Flashpoint over a Rogue? Travis C wanted to know. Back to when you were throwing that Flashpoint.
Because the Flashpoint Junior is half the size of the Rogue.
There you go.
And I went to a smaller body for the smaller bait fish. Now, I've caught them in the middle of winter on a perfect 10, and my cameraman could attest to this. We had 2 back-to-back days that were the most unbelievable fishing on earth, and everything came on a perfect 10. And it's a giant-sized jerkbait. But it was later in the winter. Actually, I'll be honest with you, it was January.
Mm-hmm.
It was New Year's Eve, so it was the end of December. It was New Year's Eve. We smoldered them. So, I mean, because the later in the winter, the bigger the forage bass the bass prefer. So that's kind of the thought process.
Same question, but different from Gabe. When you were cast, catch, count, and mount on the Fat Boy, why not a speed end instead of the Fat Boy?
Okay, so good point. I had the speed end out, and the speed end, for whatever the reason, like I told you earlier, the Fat Boy has the widest, hardest wobble ever. The bass wanted that. I don't know why, because I had speed ends on as well. And so I don't know why they didn't want the tight wobble, but maybe it wasn't cold enough for them yet, or maybe it wasn't cold enough long enough, because our water just got down there. And so I don't know why, but I've had success with the Fat Boy in the winter before. So I said, I'm going to put it on. I took off the Flex 2, put the Fat Boy on. I had 2 speed ends on. I had a chili bowl and I had a holy shad color on. And then I put the Fat Boy on in the new color that I made. And so that's, I was just experimenting with it. And they preferred it. And so, I start gearing down. As I stop getting bites on stuff, it starts to get put away. So at the end of the day, I had 3 or 4 rods out instead of 10 or 12. And that's just how I pieced it down. But I had the time before that I went also. So that helped me start to piece it down. So that's why I chose the Fat Boy. But I had thrown the speed end, but they just weren't. They weren't in the tight action yet, I don't think.
You kind of answered this question, Bass Pro 009. Would the TVA lakes follow the river pattern when they're when they're generated, when they're running current on the TVA lakes? Would you treat those more like you would a river?
100%. 100%. But the TVA lakes are a little tricky because they don't always run the current hard. So when they run the current hard, the bass will feed. And so you have to keep that into mind. They'll have standardized wintering places that would apply in all reservoir situations. But when they start running current, those fish feed. They're predicated on it. Like Lay Lake is 100% predicated on current flow. The minute Lay Lake starts moving water, those fish go after it. They'll take the usual normal places, but the minute the current goes on, it's almost like you're in a different body of water.
And then, Frankie, are you fishing up current or down current?
In the winter, I always fish with my nose into the current. I never fish.
So if you take your foot off the trolling motor, your boat's going backwards away.
Correct.
Your boat is going away from the structure that you are fishing.
Correct.
That's the easiest way for me to remember that.
Yeah, I think it's just it's a much more natural presentation. I can't stand to fish river systems the opposite way the current's going. I have to be moving into the current.
So with the current, you do not fish river systems with the current. You always
Correct.
fish river systems against the current.
Correct.
When you take your foot off the trolling motor, you want your boat to be going backwards.
Correct. 100%.
That's the easiest way to remember it for those who are
here. Listen, boat
directionally, mentally, well, not mentally challenged. I'm not mentally challenged. Some would say that.
but
what do they call it?
Directionally challenged.
Like if someone said, like I said, if someone says turn east on 5th Street and then wet, I'm like, can we do that in left or right?
Here, I always put my nose into the current.
There you go. I like that. Like the other thing I struggle with, Frank, is like if someone says it's a south wind.
Yeah, that means that the wind is coming from the south direction, but it's blowing north.
Right. But then some people say wind from the south.
Well, if they
which would be north then, wouldn't it?
No. I mean, if the wind's out of the south, it's blowing from south to north. If the wind's out of the north, it's blowing from north to south.
Do you see how that could be confusing for an individual
I do, but it just doesn't confuse me.
It's so confusing to me. If someone asks, what is the wind supposed to do? And I am not physically, well, even if I am physically with them, I will just pull up my app and show them the arrows.
Yeah, well,
because like if it's so like if you look at your wind app and it says like 10 miles an hour and then the arrow is pointing up, what do you call that? Is that wind out of the south or a north, or is it a north wind?
It'd be a south wind.
That would be a south wind. So that would be going from like Texas to Canada would
Correct.
Be considered a south wind.
Right. That's out of the south. The wind is out of the south.
So the wind is out of the north would be Canada to Texas.
Correct.
And the arrow would then be pointing down.
Correct.
So an east wind would be wind from Massachusetts. An east wind would be wind from California.
Right. Would be from going from Ohio to Oklahoma. Well,
that would be a southeast wind.
Southeast wind.
And then a west wind would obviously be California to New York.
Correct.
even though it's blowing east. It's
Correct.
blowing out of the west.
Correct.
You're so hardcore judging me. I've seen that face before.
This is a no judgment zone.
Oh, you were judging.
I wasn't judging. I was just thinking back.
To what?
I think Frankie and I had this conversation about 4 years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you see?
I see.
People, am I?
Yeah, 100%.
I grew up in Illinois.
We all are. That is so good. Right
Please, someone in the comments say that they're on my side. Like that. I'm not saying there's a side. I'm saying, I mean, I understand that, but I've never been afraid to be a little bit self-deprecating on here over the last 20 years. I've been doing this half my life.
I can see where that could be confusing to someone who doesn't fish or navigate a boat.
Well, I fish and navigate a boat.
Correct.
There's no one out of the hundreds of people that are watching this live right now that is like, thank you. I struggle with this too as well, Panger. No, apparently I'm the only one.
1 + 1 = 2. Oh my gosh. They make medicine for that. Yeah. Oh my God, is that funny? Oh, you guys are priceless, man. Remember, you guys, if you enjoy this, vote us #1. I had to do a shameless plug, Matt. Matt, you're just going to go through this and destroy your.
I struggled with it, and then I turned 6.
Oh my God, that is so good. I love it. I love it, man. Yeah, I feel like I rushed through this winter thing.
No, what else do you want to highlight?
Nothing, nothing else. I like it though. I really love this time of year. I like the challenges that are involved, and then of course our weather up here is relentless. It's been blowing. We'll have one day it'll be 35-mile-an-hour winds, gale warnings out on the lake, and then the next day they'll say it's 5 to 10, and I'll go out and it'll be 15 to 20. So it's like, who knows? I'm just happy the snow is gone now, because we just lost. We're losing our leaves right now, and then my whole yard is like a blanket of fallen leaves, and then when it snowed, it was a blanket of snow on the fallen leaves. So I'm hoping this weekend I can get out and get it all off.
Best friend 009 wants to know if it's too late to change his best on tour best podcast vote.
Oh my goodness gracious, you guys are out of your minds. Oh man, Matt, don't do this to yourself, bro.
I'm totally fine on this.
I see your thought process though.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
no, 100%.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Frank. How did Frankie's St. Jude benefit tournament go?
Oh, dude, it was really good. They had a pretty decent showing. I was shocked. Yeah, good move. I was shocked because like the lake gave up a couple 20-pound bags.
Oh wow!
An 18-pound bag, a 17-pound bag. The guys were great sports. When I got there was people wearing BTL gear and everything. It was super cool. I don't normally go to a lot of events, but because Frankie was putting it on, I wanted to be there because it was his first thing. He did a fabulous job emceeing it. And then Joe was there, and Joe LaBarbera was there, and he filmed it. It was pretty cool. I mean, I'll be honest with you. It was a pretty cool event. And a lot of the guys are like, you got to do it every year. So I think Frankie got himself opened up a little can of worms for himself now.
It's gonna be a tournament director now.
Yeah, exactly. There was a local tournament guy director there that offered Frankie a job.
Oh God. You could not pay me enough to be a tournament director.
No. That's a hard job, man.
All right. Anything else before we wrap things up? My mind have regretted the last 16 minutes.
No, you did so good, man. That's so funny.
I struggle with that.
It's fair. It's fair because you could say it's coming out of the south or it's blowing southern direction.
Or saying it's a south wind.
Yeah, well, if it's a south wind, it's blowing from south to north.
We're dangerously close to diving back into this, and we're not doing it. We're gonna go back with the original intro music that was not received well. I'll continue to work on that.
Oh man, yeah, but we got to make plans too, so I can come down this January.
Yeah, for sure. All right, this has been another edition of Day 4 with the man Frank Scalish. Same time, same place next week.
Same place.
We'll talk to everyone then. See ya.